Yes, and I think yes, it should give you a notification that we're actually recording.
Okay.
So we're good. Um, she's going to shower. Teresa, Philip, yeah, go ahead. You're fine. Yes. So this is kind of how I do it. I don't script it. I don't come in with bullet points. But yeah, I will do a proper introduction since we're actually recording and this is going to be on the channel. My cousin Teresa and her amazing husband Philip. Yes. Yes. Shout out. This is very cool. And yeah, I'm sorry. I did have it on my planner for 5 p.m., but again, I think I forgot that you're 3 hours ahead of me.
Mm-hmm. And for some reason, was thinking it was my time, and then feels like, no, I think we decided it would be their time.
And
So
actually, I'm not sure. I might have agreed to 5 p.m. your time. Just so we're both at fault, Teresa. It's fine.
we are. It's in our blood.
We will share the blame. But if I remember right, we talked a couple weeks ago. Weren't you coaching? You were coaching something, and that's why we had to set it for this time.
Yeah, I was coaching at the Boys and Girls Club
Yeah,
here in Oak Ridge,
yeah.
a competitive rec league basketball team.
And I guess we should clarify. Again, we're recording, so I want to properly introduce you guys. Teresa is my family on my dad's side, and from Tennessee, North Carolina, and Philip's her amazing husband. Huge Cincinnati Bengals fan, I believe.
Yeah, huge
Just
Cincinnati
just
Bengals fan.
just a little bit.
Yeah, anything
But anyway,
Cincinnati.
but you guys live in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, which is kind of about 15 minutes from Knoxville.
Yeah,
So the kind of northeastern, I'm sorry, yeah, it'd be northeastern Tennessee is where you guys live.
yep.
Okay. And yeah, gosh, there's so many stories and rabbit holes we can go down here. Me and Teresa have several memories from childhood, but then there was a long, decades of not really being around each other, and then we reconnected because when my dad ended up moving back to Tennessee near the end of his life, you guys were way too amazing and helped take care of him. For God's sakes, he had to live with you for a little while, and you were amazing. And then, of course, when he passed and we came back for his celebration of life, you guys were awesome enough to host us at your house and had some of the family from the West Coast come out, Sheila and her son Elijah and our cousin Michael. But also your kids were there. That was amazing. My dumbass brothers, Wes and Michael, live in Cleveland, Tennessee. So it was easy for them. But yeah, so I just like to do a proper introduction that we are family. Um, and again, you're connected to my dad's side of the family. Your father was his cousin Buddy Burrell,
Hmm.
who I got to know actually because Buddy moved out here when I was in high school. Him and Becky,
Hmm.
they stayed. I don't. Yes. Oh, thank you. That's Freddie. That's
Hmm.
that's Buddy and Freddie.
Yep.
Oh, thank you for that. Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, my dad's brother Freddie. But yeah, Buddy and Becky moved out for a little while to Canby for some reason when I was in high school, and they stayed here for a little bit and eventually went back. But yeah, I have a lot of good memories of your dad.
Do you remember this car?
His Buick,
Yes.
because that's what he drove. He drove out, and it was funny. We were in a rental house
Hmm.
on nine. I remember the address, 915 North Locust Street in Canby. It was a rental house, and Buddy was living literally like 4 blocks away from us in another rental. But it was the weirdest thing.
That's that neighborhood then, because this is 1988 Oregon.
Yes, yes, that's his rental house. Yeah, and he came and hung out at our house, and it was so weird. Spent the evening there. And my dad was home, he was a truck driver, but he happened to be home that night, and Luana was there, and Freddie was there living with us. And we spent the entire evening, and then I went to bed and I woke up the next day, and I think, yeah, Buddy actually called me. And he was already like a state away. He just got on the road and started driving back to Tennessee in that Buick. And he was at least in Idaho, I think, or maybe Eastern Oregon, but he was at least 4 or 5 hours away. But he was like, I'm going back. And I remember this crystal clear. Um, and it was so sweet that he actually called me, because I was like, well, dude, I'll drive back with you. And I'm a 17-year-old kid being stupid, and he knew better than to even try that. But yeah, he just kind of up and left to go back. Um, God, that's a
That
really
doesn't surprise me.
I haven't thought about that in years, but that was really cool. But he was always so cool. Um, really kind. I might have told you the story about for some reason I was in high school, and I showed up late, like, a little bit late to first period. And I made him sign my excuse note. And they're like, Buddy Burrell, who the fuck is this? Because I obviously have a different last name. But yeah, that was a great several months. I don't remember exactly how long him and Becky were out here, but it was at least a few months or a year. And maybe you could, I don't know, maybe you could shed some light on that. I don't know why they came out here. Was it because of Freddie or?
So in 1987, Mama got pregnant with Mary, my little sister, and we were keeping Freddie at our house. And she had Uncle Jack come out and get Freddie because,
Mhm.
she was going to have a baby within 9 months or
Yeah.
however far along she was. And so him and Luann came out and took Freddie back and
Yeah, I
sold all
remember
the,
that.
yeah. And so Daddy went out there. Um, it was it's kind of a funny
And
story.
we can speak freely here. I don't want to, I'm not trying to get dirt, but
No, he
I,
was running from the law.
and I didn't know that. I wasn't
Yeah, he
implying that. I have no idea.
so he was a trader. He sold guns, and I am not sure if this is the reason, but I mean, there were times that he had gotten questioned about, selling guns and
okay.
them coming back as either, he never stole anything. If he did, I mean, if it would came back, you know, with a red flag, it would have been because he traded or he bought it at the flea market from someone.
So I do remember what my dad always said is not just Buddy, but a lot of the Burrells, he called them horse traders. Like they were into the bartering thing and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
this is what you're talking about is your dad was doing a lot of that.
Yeah, he did that with guns, and
Okay.
he actually had a little place at the flea market he set up, and he sold um all kinds of things. Like he would get uniforms, and he would get boxes of socks. When the hosiery mill went out, he went and bought up as many socks as he could, and he took them and he doubled the money,
Was
and
this was
that's in
this
our
in
blood.
was
Do
this
it.
in the Cleveland area?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, he's always been a trader, and all of
Yeah.
our family is in that. I mean, it's in our blood.
Yeah, I'm
Our
even
grandfather.
Jackie was
Yeah.
a huge trader. Yeah.
Yeah, and our grandfather, he used to sell dogs. He would raise dogs and sell them out of the Sears and Roebuck catalog. You could order a dog from him out of the Sears and Roebuck catalog.
No, I didn't know that. So we're talking back in the day, like
Back in the day.
the 60s, 70s, something like that, or
I would think it would have been earlier than
maybe
that.
the
It
50s.
was my
Yeah.
dad was probably so daddy was born in 41, the same year
Yes.
as Uncle Jack.
Yep.
And
April. Yeah.
yeah, April, he was born April 1st, and he was the first boy. So he was, I don't want to say he was the favorite, but he was favored. And even his dad, as hard as they were back then on kids, it was a different
It
life,
was a different generation. Yeah.
different generation. you know, Daddy had gotten attached to one of those dogs that Grandpa Bill had, um, was sold in the catalog, and he went and got that dog back because my dad was so upset. And I was like, that is the heart of my dad.
I,
Like,
I yeah.
I was so speechless when I heard that story because all I've ever heard was how hard it was growing up in that time.
Yes.
They were poor, and dirt floor poor is a real thing.
Yeah.
People would say your floor is so dirty, but it was dirt.
Yeah, it
They
wasn't
didn't
dirty, it
have
was dirt.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually saw the old house that they grew up in before the land sold. And I'm telling you what, Daddy took me there, and I was like, wow, it makes sense. Like that was the first thing I noticed. And um, so with that being said, the Grandpa Bill, he passed that on. He was such a good trader and good at making money, and he was a character. Like he would lie to people and say this is the best dog you'll ever get, and it wouldn't be. And so that runs in our family too. So
No, I don't know what you're talking about. My dad, Jack, never embellished anything. I have no idea what you're talking about. God.
I definitely know he was pretty much one of the favorite cousins of all of them.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
But
Well, and the dog story, that actually rings, that makes me think. I feel like my dad told me that story about Buddy, about that dog. Yeah.
mhm.
So is it because they were so close in age and grew up together? Is that why they were so close?
Yeah, because his dad and your dad's mom so Bill and uh, Lenny were brother and sister.
Okay, so my grandma, who I did meet once when I was really young before she passed, was related to.
My grandpa. They were brother and
Oh,
sister.
okay, got it.
Okay. And there was like, I don't know how many kids, but there was um that side of the family. I really need to, they're the ones from North Carolina. So that,
Murphy.
yeah, Murphy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so they always had a reunion up there for that side of the family. So growing up, Daddy would go to that reunion. He always was at that reunion. He actually took me my first time back. Well, I went when I was a teenager. I went with him and Aunt Willa Mae,
Yeah,
Uncle Jack's brother Bobby Seal,
yeah.
and it was the funnest trip I'd ever been on. I was like 15 years old, and so Bill and Lenny were brother and sister, and that's how your dad and my dad became so close because they were so close in age. They literally grew up together
Okay.
for years, all through
Yeah.
their adolescence. So um that is how they became like brothers.
Yeah, I always felt like my dad, yeah, almost, and I've obviously met like, I met Bob, I met Claude, Doc, Syl, all them. But yeah, him and Buddy like had a special relationship.
Yeah. They would get in a lot of trouble together. They would
No, no
run
way, really?
run
Jesus.
moonshine. No,
God.
they would
No, yes,
run
they
from
did. You can say
run from the
it.
law with the moonshine in the floorboard.
The statute of limitations is passed, so we can talk about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, and grandma, she would so your grandma, Lenny, she would make home brew,
Hmm.
and she would hide all of their uh stuff that they made under the floor, under the
Yeah.
porch at the house in Murphy, and she would never be able to get caught because they said that the officer was so fat he couldn't even get under the house.
He couldn't like get on one knee and try to
Yeah.
pry the boards up.
No, but the stories, they're so funny, and they're so, it's hard to believe, but I really do believe they had all had a good time, you know.
Yeah. No, again, it was a different world, a different time. But there was a lot of love there, obviously. And when you come from that upbringing, you're definitely poor. Let's just say it. Yeah, they were poor and gosh damn. I've heard a lot of stories all, from Buddy, but also from my dad, clearly. Um,
Mhm.
wow. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
and
just I'm just reminiscing. Yeah.
that's how your dad became one of my favorite. He was actually my great uncle, your dad was, because um it it was one of those things, back in North Carolina, like, so your dad's sister, Mary Lou, was the mother.
I think that's the only one I never met.
Okay, let
Wasn't
me
she in Detroit or Chicago? Is that?
Detroit.
Yes.
Yeah, she moved to Detroit, and grandma raised my mom and her sister for the first 5 years of their life.
That's
And they always
right.
thought your grandma was their mother. And
Oh.
yeah, so I had a picture I was going to show you of her. Here is Mary Lou when she was a teenager. Can you see that?
Oh God, yes. I can tell she's related. Yeah, she has the Greek nose. Oh my God.
She looks like Sheila to
Yeah,
me.
yes,
She
absolutely.
looks
Oh
like
my God.
Sheila.
Yes,
And
totally.
so she moved up there where during the time where the car industry was booming because her
Yeah, of
husband worked
course.
for GM.
So it was for work. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she gave the girls literally to your grandma and then came and took them away, and they didn't know what was going on. They were traumatized. And so
Because they went from, I guess, was it Murphy or wherever they were from, or wherever they
yeah,
were going up to Detroit, like culture shock.
yes. And they put them in, when they got old enough, they went to Catholic school, which there's nothing against that, but it was very hard back then because they were not even raised that way.
Yeah,
They were raised in the Appalachian Mountains.
yeah.
And so it was just, and that's how, Mama got close to your dad because all the cousins were just close. You know how Sheila is with you guys,
Yeah,
and growing up, it was like y'all were always together. Your dads were always together, it seems like.
yeah.
And so that's how it was for them. Um, so they were very close knit. But
And I
there's
remember,
a
I
lot of,
think one of the trips back there, at the last, year or so of my dad's life, I made a few trips back, but I feel like we've talked about this. Some of this is sounding familiar. Um, wow,
yeah.
it's great. I do, I'm going to include Philip here, just to embarrass him. Yes. Tell me the story again. Obviously, go fucking Buckeyes and go Bengals and yada fucking yada, all that bullshit. No, I'm kidding.
Don't
I
forget my
love them.
Reds. I mean,
Uh,
I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan.
that,
I'm actually a bigger Cincinnati Reds fan than I am a Bengals fan.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so Cincinnati is and always will be a baseball town.
Again, when I was back there, I feel like we talked about this. That's where you're from.
Yeah, I grew up in
So
Cincinnati.
and again, apologies. I know I've heard the story, but how did you meet Teresa?
Oh goodness.
We have all night. I
Right.
pay for Zoom, so we can do this for 3 hours. It's fine.
So I went. Um,
Oh,
How
look at
skinny.
that amazingly ruggedly. No, hold it up a little higher.
Well,
A little
yeah, you
higher.
do that.
Sorry.
Look at that ruggedly handsome, very stoic male figure.
That is a 175 pound soaking wet, 6'3" goober is what that was.
And you're 180 now.
Yeah, I wish. I wish.
So anyway, I'm sorry. You're
Um,
from Ohio,
yeah,
obviously. But how did
so
you and Teresa meet?
originally I'm like again I'm when I was I can't remember exactly how old I was, but I was in junior high school. Right before we started junior high school, my mom and her boyfriend moved. We moved to Tennessee
Okay.
from Cincinnati, and we lived in Sweetwater for a couple years. And
Now,
when
where is Sweetwater in relation to the towns
Sweet
I know?
Sweetwater, so Athens, you remember, Athens,
Athens,
Tennessee?
Tennessee?
Yeah.
No, I don't know where that's at.
Well, that it is basically midway between Knoxville and Chattanooga. It's almost center
Oh,
point.
on that highway.
Yeah, it's
Where
right up
you
75.
stopped and met me, and I gave you
Yes.
all the merch.
And you gave me the jersey. Yes. The
Yeah.
the Tennessee jersey.
Is that what?
Okay, it's halfway between. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Athens is a little bigger town. Sweetwater is like a one of those. It's not a one stoplight town, but it may have like two or three.
Okay.
So it's a real small town. It's
And I'm
known
sorry,
for.
what age were you when you guys moved
I was
there?
in junior high school, so that
Okay.
was so we stayed there. We lived there for 2 years, and then I wanted to go to a bigger school. So we ended up moving to Athens, and I went to high school at McMinn. So when I was a senior in high school, um, I was I'm very was involved in sports, played basketball, football, track, all those things.
Yeah.
And we were at our high school hosted a softball game for our high school softball team,
Okay.
and it was during school. And I was walking. I was a I don't know, should I say it? I was a player. I was like a flirt. I had most of my friends were girls.
You were a confident young adult
I
is the
was a
phrase you're
very
looking
confident
for.
young man. And so I had a bunch of friends on the softball team. So as I'm going to the game, I noticed this gorgeous, long, curly haired girl with her boyfriend. Um,
Oh,
yeah, on the third base. And I know the exact spot. They were standing right on the third baseline foul pole and in the
I
outfield.
love this.
And so as I walk by, I notice her, and then I'm meeting up with some of my friends, which are female on the softball team, and so I'm talking and cutting up and flirting with them, and they called we called each other brother and sister because we were real close. We didn't date or anything like that, but
Right.
I just was a flirt.
Yes.
And then I don't know if it was the next day or that week, we're walking down the halls in McMinn, and we have a mutual friend, Tony. And I still
Shout
got
out to Tony.
yeah, Tony.
Oh,
in
yes.
Mississippi.
Give him credit. Yes.
No,
Yeah,
her.
Yeah, she
Or
yeah,
her, I'm sorry.
yeah, it's a her. And so I don't know how I knew Tony, but I knew Tony.
Softball.
So
She was on the softball
it
team.
was with
Yeah.
with all her other friends. But
Mhm.
anyhow, I walked by and I say, "Hey Tony, how you doing?" And then she said, "Hey Phil," and whatever. And Teresa was standing there with her, and then she'll have to tell you the rest of that story. So
In the math hall, because
Yeah.
that's where our locker, we were keeping our books in the locker. And I was like,
Right.
who is, because he goes, "Hey Tony, what's up?" And I go, "Who is that? How do you know him?" And he's like, "Who? Philip?" And I go, "Philip, such a beautiful name."
Oh my God. I
whatever.
love
And I
this.
said, "Tony, give him my number." And she did, and he called me that night.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
And the rest is history.
yeah, so
Yes.
We talked for like hours, and then I broke up with that guy.
Yeah. Clearly. Oh my God, that's amazing.
so the other interesting thing about that is I grew up poor, you know, as well.
Yeah, I think me and Teresa also did.
Yeah, we didn't have a house phone. So
Oh, okay.
in order for me to call her, I drove downtown Athens. I live close to downtown. I drove down to downtown Athens, and there was a phone
A
booth.
phone booth.
Yes.
So for my younger listeners, there used to be things called phone booths where you had to put a quarter in. It'd be outside of like a convenience store or whatever. But yeah,
Yep.
this was a thing before cell phones. So go ahead.
So that I drove down there, put the quarter in and called her, and I used that same payphone. So it wasn't the actual booth. It was in a parking lot of Profits department store.
Yeah, they weren't
Uh,
all the booths. Some of them were just on a
yeah,
wall. Yeah, right.
and you could actually drive up to it. And so
Yes.
every conversation on the phone that we had while we were dating, I used that phone, and I would use that exact phone.
That's
So
dedication, man.
yeah, and so I went to that phone, and I would, when we would talk, I remember I put um there's like there's a little sheet metal, right? And it
Yes.
was a real thin sheet metal.
Yep.
So on the edge of it, I wrote "I love Teresa"
Oh,
that on the edge of it. And let me tell you, years later, when they took the payphones out and those little boxes were still there and the phone was
yeah.
gone, I drove by it one day and it was still there.
Oh, Jesus, Philip. I'm not supposed to cry in my own podcast, but yeah. But they had
We
removed the
had kids
phone.
then.
Yeah,
We had
yeah.
kids then. So it
Yeah.
was like, I'm talking like 20 years later, it was still
Yeah,
there.
a couple of decades.
Hmm.
Oh, that is awesome. But yeah, I mean, even after the phone was gone, it was just a booth that used to have a phone.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, holy shit. That's
We definitely
awesome,
took a
man.
picture of it, but
But that
So
also explains that you moved to Tennessee in your formative years when you were still in high school or middle school.
I just started junior high school.
That's
So
right. But that
seven.
explains how you picked up you have a hint of an accent.
Oh yeah,
And
I'm very impressionable. Like I'm very easily influenced. So I often say that I can translate for Northern people. So when we moved up to Cincinnati with me and our family, I was able to translate when people didn't understand what our kids say because I can speak both Northern and Southern.
yes, you were bilingual.
I'm bilingual. Yeah.
yeah, we moved back up there in 2004. And the kids, yeah,
Yeah,
they
and
lived.
again, I'm sorry. So let's talk about that because I feel like again, there, when I was out there, sorry, dealing with all dad stuff, we had a lot of great conversations, but some of it I don't remember. But this sounds kind of familiar. 2004, you and the family moved up there. Was it for work or?
I so when me and Teresa dated, I didn't grow up in church. Didn't know nothing about church or anything like that. But in order
Okay.
for us to date and to be together on the weekends,
Okay.
I'd go to church with them.
Right.
So
And
he
I'm
did an
assuming,
extra
was
day.
it Southern Baptist Church? I'm assuming,
it
or
was, yeah, it was a
Yes.
Southern
Yeah.
Baptist church.
yeah.
So we were dating. I'd go to church with her on Sundays, and then eventually after we got married, we got back into church, and then I got involved in the ministry.
Okay.
So I would what you would call a dirty faced street kid in Cincinnati. I
Oh,
grew up on Vine Street.
please explain that for the
Um,
layman people that are
yeah,
listening.
so I'm latchkey kid, at
Yeah.
Gen
Yeah.
X latchkey. My
Yeah.
mom worked in the sewing factories during the day, and she bartended at night. I
Oh,
grew up.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was alone. All my siblings were all older than me and already gone out of the house from when I could remember. So I basically I ran the streets until it was time to go home and go to
Because
bed.
mom was working two
Yeah, mom
jobs.
mom was working and stuff. So it
Tell
was.
about you going down to
Oh
downtown.
yeah, and so another reason why I'm a big Reds fan is because when I was a kid, I would take the Metro bus down Vine Street, which dropped you off right on Fountain Square.
Is that where
And
the stadium is?
yeah, so yeah, it's a couple blocks away. Then there's this thing that I think it's still there. It's called the Skywalk. It's kind of like a sidewalk in the air
Okay.
that connected all the buildings.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I was able to go. I knew how to get to the end of it where there was a baseball card shop, like
Okay.
memorabilia and stuff. So I'd go in there and I'd look at all the memorabilia and stuff. And I go down the corner, and there was this guy on the corner that always sold tickets for cheap. So I'd pay $5, I think it was $7 for some cheap seats, and I'd go to the Reds game.
Tell him how old you were.
I was in the fifth grade. Um,
So was this, I'm assuming Pete Rose was already retired, or
yeah,
did
Pete
you get
Rose
to see him
retired,
play?
so that was like toward Barry. I don't even remember the players because this was back in the early, or
Early 90s?
mid '80s. No, this was
Oh,
in the
mid
'80s.
80s. Okay.
Yeah, early mid '80s.
Okay.
No, mid '80s for sure. But now what was we saying? I was talking about why we moved back to Cincinnati.
Yes.
Um, I love Cincinnati. It's my hometown. It's where I'm from. Still get chills when I go into the town and stuff. But when I got into the ministry, I always wanted to go back to Cincinnati and minister in the streets
Okay.
and to go downtown, homeless, and help folks down there. So that's what we did. We ended up kind of being in like what they would consider a home missionary.
Yeah.
So me and the family lived in Cincinnati for 4 years, and that's what we did. I ended up pastoring a church. I ended up, going downtown doing a street ministry, and
Wow.
and we did that for about 4 years. So
That's incredible. And that's no, I don't go to church regularly, but I understand that's a commitment and that's a
yeah,
lot of work, behind the scenes work to even try to start a ministry and try to get it to try to build, your flock and all that. There was a lot of unpaid hours.
oh yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So she worked 2 jobs. I worked a job. Plus, I was pastoring, and then the kids we were putting them in Christian school. So
Okay.
A
it
labor
was a
of
lot of it
love.
was a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and okay, so at this point, you had all the kids?
Yeah,
Or how many?
Charity was not even
Eight
a year. Yeah, she
months.
wasn't even a year old yet when
Okay.
we left Tennessee for Cincinnati.
Okay. And you stayed there for how long?
About 4 years.
Till
And then
2009.
okay, and then is that when you came back?
We
To,
we ended up going. We ended up going to Wisconsin.
We were trying to come back home to
I mean,
Tennessee.
why wouldn't you go to Wisconsin? Yeah, of course.
Right.
Exactly. So, no, so
I love you
we
so
have we have
much.
so many. There's so many stories. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's why I do the fucking podcast. I want
yeah,
to hear these
But let me
stories.
tell you, your dad had just bought that red truck and he came up and seen us in Ohio.
The big red Dodge Ram.
yep.
Yes,
Yes.
he was doing private hauling for
Yes, he
and
was. Yeah, he was hauling with a little fucking tow trailer behind it. Oh my God.
yes, and so he stayed with us for a couple of days and Mama was there. I'm so glad she was there and Mary was
Oh,
there and so he stayed the night and he's like, okay, I'm gonna get up at 9 o'clock. No, I'm gonna get up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm gonna
yeah.
get up
And
at
then he
six.
woke up at 9.
Yeah, no, that was 9 o'clock our time though. Yes.
Oh,
So
okay. I'm sorry.
yeah, so I'm like making him gravy and biscuits at 5 o'clock in the morning, but it's really not
Yeah.
his normal time because
Yeah.
he's on the West Coast
West
time.
Coast time, 3 hours
So
behind.
yeah, so I had made this huge breakfast and he was still asleep and I'm like, should I go check on him? Like, and he got up at exactly at 6 his time. He wasn't.
Which would have been 9 p.m. your time.
Yeah, or
Yes.
9 a.m. our
Yeah.
time. And
I'm
so
sorry,
anyway,
9 a.m.
but
Yeah.
I got lots of pictures of him with that truck and it was parked on the side of the in front of our house and oh, we had such a good time. And that's when I actually looked on the computer for him for the census for his dad and
Oh, right.
when they first moved, and when they first got married, when Harry, first your grandfather got married
Yes.
to
Yeah.
grandma, and when James was born and where they lived. And I ended up printing all that off for him. And then he brought it, I think, is that when he gave it to your daughter?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Kristen.
Kristen. Yes.
And she did that huge workup with it. And we
Yes.
even learned more stuff that we
Yeah.
didn't know. And so I'm so glad that
Oh,
happened.
I'm actually, I forgot about that, but I'm really glad that you got to you got to spend time with him when you didn't have to fucking take care of him. So
Yes.
I don't mean that to sound mean, but you guys
No.
at the end at the last few years, you guys were amazing, and you did have to be his caretaker for a bit. But that was cool that you had that time in 2009, I think you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he was still working, still functional.
hmm
Holy shit. So, okay, um,
We went to
Cincinnati,
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yeah. So we were going back and forth trying. That was back right when the economic crisis and stuff
Well,
was going
2008, the
on.
market crash.
Yeah. So
Yes.
jobs were very difficult down here in Tennessee. And so me and Treese, I'd gotten into programming, robotic programming, and was really getting in depth with it, right? And this company up in Wisconsin was looking for a robot programmer. So what I ended up doing, I applied for it, and I was like, "There's no way. I mean, they're not even going to,
So when you say robot programmer, is that kind of a software issue? Like you have to write the code to make the
it,
robot work, or
yeah, somewhat. Each robot like type has their own language, so it's not like C plus plus or whatever kind of
right?
like or DOS or anything like that. They have a baseline programming software that you learn, and they're all similar in a lot of ways, so it's easy to transition from one. So I started on Motoman with the Panasonic, then Fanuc, and then
Okay.
now I can do ABB and KUKA and all the different types of robots. But at the time, it was I got into Panasonic really in depth, and was because the company I was working for in Cincinnati had just purchased two new robotic welding cells. And so I helped the guys set both of those up. So I really got like on the job intense training and learned the programming even more. So I was like, they paid for the trip for us to come up there. So me and Treese leave Cincinnati, and it's in December in Wisconsin.
Yeah, so the
It's
roads are
ridiculous.
clear.
Yeah, perfect.
Totally
So
sunny and 75.
I get off work, I drive up there because I was going to do the interview the next day, and we get up there. It's pretty late, but you lose an hour or you gain an hour because you're going over the time zone or whatever.
Yeah.
So we get up there, and it is, I don't know,
Negative 26.
it was so cold. It was so cold.
I love that
we
Teresa knows the exact temperature,
we
negative
drove.
26.
Yeah, there's like 8 inches of snow permanently on the ground. And I pull up and I get out of the car, and I'm like, I drove. So I got gas in Indiana, and I didn't have a jacket on. I got out of the car, stepped out, immediately got back in the car, closed the door, and got my jacket on so I could even pump the gas. It was so freaking cold. And I go up there and I do this interview, and I absolutely kill the interview. It's like perfect, everything exactly what they're looking for, and it was a significant amount of money, more than what I've ever made.
Okay.
Like, it would have been on the off shift anyway. So we go up there for the interview. While I'm giving the interview, Therese goes out and she's intermingling with the commoners in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Don't you know? Oh my gosh, don't you know?
They are the absolute sweetest people in the world.
Sweetest.
They're the nicest. They use the word fuck all the time. But
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I keep
super,
doing that. I'm sorry.
it is super. No, it's fine.
fine.
But it is like it was like a great place.
Yeah.
It was right. So Oshkosh sits right on the banks of Lake Winnebago,
hmm
and it's a monstrous lake, huge lake, really really long, like north to south, and it's about 35 miles wide. So
Okay.
it's a big lake.
So you can't see the other side of it. Yeah.
You can see the other side, but it's just the edge, like
Oh,
only because it's elevated. So
right. Right. Yeah.
on the east side of Winnebago, it's elevated in certain areas. Big
Okay.
windmills, the electric renewable energy
Yeah.
windmills line the coast over there. So
Yeah.
it was
The wind
cool.
farms.
Yeah, a wind farm. It was a huge
Yes.
wind farm over there. So you could see that because it's elevated over the lake in December. And they ended up offering us the job. and
Okay.
we couldn't believe it. So we ended up moving up there, and I worked out of a local church up there, and
So you got the job, but you also were still pastoring.
no, this was
Mm-mm.
that had come to an end. Um, the ministry had kind of faded to a point where
Okay.
we needed to move. It was time for us to move on.
So this was just a job as an engineer, software engineer for the
Yeah, pretty
robotics
much.
company. Okay.
And so we moved up there, worked out a local church for 4 years. Kids went to Christian school up there, and I worked for that company. And then that's when her dad got sick.
In
Okay.
2013,
Yeah.
Daddy,
Yeah.
he got sick and um, was it was like the end of February, the last week of February, and I had he had called me the night before and left me a message, and I had was going to call him back, but my aunt Darlene sent me a message and said they were life flighting him to Erlanger, and they didn't know what had happened, and then he
Erlinger is
Erlanger's in Chattanooga.
A big
okay.
It's
hospital.
Oh,
like
the
a
hospital.
it's that is a trauma hospital.
Yes. Yeah.
So I get the next flight. There's a snowstorm, so I'm delayed in Michigan.
It was Milwaukee, wasn't it?
No, I was delayed in Michigan and in Detroit, and
Oh,
I just couldn't wait to get there. And he had been intubated, and just not getting into all of that, but when he no, he wasn't responsive, and he was
Right.
on sedation medicine and in ICU. And when I finally got there and he heard my voice, he opened his eyes
Oh,
and he mouthed to me because he was intubated, he couldn't talk. He said, "I
right.
want to go home." And that meant he was ready to let go. So me and Manuel were there 5 days. I was there the whole time while they were trying to figure out if they were going to take him off the vent. And I ended up being the one to tell them. And they said, "Well, we'll just see what happens." And me and Manuel stayed there until he passed. And it wasn't that long after. And I'm so
Well,
thankful. I'm so
thank
thankful.
goodness he
Yes.
wasn't in the hospital for too long, right?
Right. Yeah. I
A
mean,
matter of weeks.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it was like 10, it was just a long agonizing for him. It was,
Yeah.
you know, we were just trying to figure out if we should take him off the vent
Yeah,
and
and that's a really
yeah, yeah.
God, how do you make that decision? Fuck.
Whew, it was I couldn't even talk about it without
God,
just
Philip, I thought it was Teresa that always cried, and she's making me cry. Jesus.
let me tell you
Let me collect myself.
when he was transitioning, I pulled my chair up to him, and I laid there and fell asleep. And as his soul left, it woke me up, and I go like that, and
Yeah. Yeah.
he was gone,
Yeah.
and that's how it was supposed to be, you
Yeah.
know. And so I'm thankful for that moment.
So this does explain again, you guys
I mean,
as I told my mom at the end, fuck. Let me collect myself.
It's
I
okay.
didn't think it was going to go this way. But uh, I'm not good with the day to day, but when the shit hits the fan, I'll be there for you. But
Mm,
I uh I feel like we talked about some of this and I also remember um Philip, what I was going to go to was Philip, you went through some health struggles. I feel like it was when my dad was back there, but maybe after you had to take care of him. But I remember photos of Philip in the hospital. Um,
Yeah, we when that was during COVID.
yes, it was during
It
COVID.
was
That's what I
COVID.
mean. I don't, you don't have to talk about it. But we were fucking worried about you. But that is something that has been handled in your past, or
Oh yeah. I mean, it was just your.
I don't even know what it was, and I feel bad asking that. Yeah, again, this is where I go back to.
Three of us.
Yeah, we.
My mom always said, "Fuck you, just day-to-day shit. You're not the best, but when it comes down to it, I'll be there for you." So like, yeah, I don't remember. I just remember you were in the hospital for a while. I was like, what the fuck is happening with Philip?
Yeah, we were so. Treese got COVID, and then I got it, and then Charity got it, and so Treese was the first one that ended up in the hospital with it. She was in there for how
A
many days?
week.
She was in there for a week.
The day I got released, Charity is being taken by
Yeah.
ambulance to Children's because she
Oh,
had
shit.
a blood clot.
So
Okay.
so they took her, and so when Treese got out, I literally got put in the hospital the next day, which I was down there. When she got released from the hospital, I was in the same room she was in.
They put you
They
in
Oh.
put
the
me in the
same
same
room,
room.
and this is a huge hospital.
Yeah. So Treese goes down to Charity because Charity was in really bad shape. Like
Yeah.
they were gonna
put her on
they
an
were gonna put her on an event.
Yeah.
And so I was in the hospital for a week with COVID. I, I guess it was just your typical experience for, I'm overweight, diabetic.
Okay.
So
No, but I'm not sorry. That's what it was, though. I
yeah,
thought it
yeah,
was a different hell shit, but it was COVID.
it was COVID. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
So it was just your typical
But it took
COVID
him a
experience.
year for us to be
Yeah.
able to get over it in our lungs. It took a good year.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
And he's an athlete. I've never seen him winded. He couldn't even walk to the car.
Well,
From
and
the
it's not even that, you're saying, look, I wasn't in the best of shape or whatever. It's not even that. It just affects everybody differently.
Mhm.
Yep.
Some people it hits fucking hard. Even if you're in the best shape of your life, it hits some people harder than others. So
And at that time, they were saying children couldn't get it, but they did a news thing on Charity because by the time we left, the children's hospital was filling up with kids.
yeah.
And like 10 people from my work died that were my age.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
And it was very traumatic.
Well, okay, then God, now that we've all been crying, or at least I have, let's go back to how you landed back in Oak Ridge.
The
Or I'm sorry,
Well-
did you go from Wisconsin to Oak Ridge, or was
No,
there a stop in
moved-
between?
So we ended up moving back, basically starting over. So when her dad passed, it kind of opened our eyes to being, hey, we need to get home. My mom's 80. What it is?
She's
86.
85 now.
Yeah,
She'll be
she'll be
86.
86 the 1st of March.
Okay.
Now she acts like
Hallelujah. I mean, she's still with you. That's awesome.
yeah, and then of course her mom
Mama was still doing good.
she was in good health and everything. So we're like, we need to get back home. So we moved back to Tennessee. Basically start over. We had my mom let me borrow the money for us to rent a U-Haul
Yeah.
and get all of the stuff that we had up in Wisconsin, all the kids and stuff, put it in a U-Haul, and dude, we were so broke because when her dad passed, I stayed down in Tennessee and that was another reason why we're like, hey, we just need to move back.
We stayed for a month.
Yeah, we stayed for a month, and so when we decided to come back, my mom let me borrow the money to rent the U-Haul. I had enough money in our checking account to basically that was back in the day whenever you would put your card in and it would only charge you $1 to make sure you had money.
Right.
I filled up the U-Haul 3 times from Wisconsin to Tennessee with like $10
Yeah.
because of
As
that.
as long as the card cleared, you could pump
So-
as much gas as you wanted to.
Exactly, we did. So I'd fill up the U-Haul and then she'd pull up and I'd fill up the van and we drove. That's how we ended up getting home, and we literally, her friend, they had some apartments, and they fixed up an apartment for us to stay. Didn't have a
Okay.
job, didn't have any money, didn't have a place to stay, but we basically started over when we moved back to Athens
Okay.
after that. And
And
then,
Athens was, between Cleveland and Oak Ridge, right on
Yeah.
that
yeah,
highway. Yes.
And
Okay.
it was where we graduated high school, went to high
Yes. Yes.
school.
That's when
That
you
was
met.
like,
Yes. I
yeah,
remember
our
that.
little hometown.
so, and then I got a job as an integrator down in Chattanooga, and then stepped my way up through.
Well, I do remember, and I can't remember if it was my dad telling me this, but you had options, and you're obviously skilled and have talents. But there was something about like this job pays, but you had to travel a lot for it. Like,
Yes. Yeah, and that's still true to this day. So as a robotic integrator, robotic engineer, what you end up doing is we build the robotic cells at our company. So during that time, we're home, and we're building the cells, we're programming them, we're debugging them, we're preparing them for buy off. And then what happens is once they buy off on the cell, we're finished programming everything. They take it apart and they ship it to the customer. And then when we're ready, we go to the customer and we end up debugging it there and getting it up for production.
oh,
And then once it's up for production, you do production support. So you're there. Takes about 2 weeks to build a cell and get it reprogrammed at the customer, and then you've got another 2 weeks worth of production support while it's running production. If it has an issue,
okay.
you've got to continue to debug it and keep it running for production. So
Wow.
I could be gone for, just one project would be for a month, and those projects just continued. Like,
At
Yes.
Tesla.
so, and then of course being Tesla, we would end up going like a month at a time as we were trying to get that cell up and running, because it was
Wow.
Where
that.
Elon Musk slept on the
Yeah,
floor.
he
I don't
slept on
know
the floor in his office.
if you're a fan, but it was pretty cool that he was in the presence of Elon.
Presence of
No,
Elon.
I'm actually a fan. Look, nobody. I'm going to use this line. In the last couple of years, this has been one of my favorite quotes, and I don't think I'm the first one that thought of it, but nobody is as good as their best day ever, and nobody is as bad as their worst day ever. It's in between.
Okay.
Yes, Elon
I
is a
like that.
fucking genius. Yes, maybe he makes mistakes and says stupid shit, but he's a fucking genius. All
Yeah.
right.
Yes. And so
Um,
because he got that little essence from Elon since then, like
yeah.
he ended up getting being an engineer, and now we're in a really good place. Like we're not poor anymore.
That rhymes. I'm gonna
Right.
write a song about that with those three chords. I'm not poor anymore.
The that job that brought me to, to Tesla. And so I've worked at Tesla in Fairmount, California. I've worked at Nissan in Smyrna, Tennessee, and in Clanton, no, somewhere in Mississippi. I can't
No,
even
say it
remember.
with the accent.
Canton.
Canton, Mississippi. Yeah. So Mercedes, Volkswagen in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
So I was, and that's what you do. So it's like from one place to the next, the one manufacturer to the next, and so I was on the road, almost like so much. Just got back from
Enough
California.
to make me psycho.
I was going
And
between.
you weren't psycho before.
Wow. So I
I'm
went from
kidding. You're a sweetheart, Teresa.
I went from a project in Smyrna down to Canton, Mississippi, a place out in somewhere in Georgia. I can't even remember the name of that place. Then back to Canton, then back up to Smyrna. I came home for Christmas.
Spartanburg. Did you say
Yeah.
Spartanburg?
Yeah, I was up.
BMW?
Yeah, I was at Spartanburg too.
Spartanburg, yeah.
And I got home for Christmas. I got home, I think Christmas Eve, stayed Christmas, was gone the next day. And I'm like, this is it. I got to stop. I can't travel anymore. And it just so happened the company that I went to work for out of high school, Johnson Controls. It'd been bought out by a couple different companies. Now
Johnson Controls, didn't they make batteries?
they made batteries, they did plastics, they did automotive, they did controls as far as
Holy
like
shit. Yeah, my mom's brother retired from Johnson Control here in Canby, Oregon, my high school, where I grew
yeah,
up in Oregon. They had a Johnson Control plant. And so anyway, go ahead.
yeah.
That just made me laugh.
It's the same company, but it had been purchased by a company called Adient,
Yeah, yeah.
which is
It's not Johnson Control
yeah.
anymore. Right.
But so they were in need of a welding engineer, and I've spent 20 years welding, manual welding as a weld supervisor, as a robotic programmer, and they were looking for a welding engineer that had automation experience. So I'm basically a robotic engineer that knows how to weld. So they hired me as their welding engineer, and I integrate new tools and stuff, and it saves them a ton of money because they don't have to pay an integrator to come in and do it for them and
Right.
overcharge them and keep them, basically try to stay on site for as long as you can to get as much money as you. I can do it myself, and jobs that would take an integrator, they would try to do 3 to 4 weeks. I could do it in 3 days and
Yeah.
have a cell up and running. And so that got me off the road. I got to sleep in my own bed every night.
I put away fake Phil.
Yeah, fake Phil's no longer a thing.
My pillow. I made him out of pillows and I called him my pillow.
She had a pillow called Fake Phil.
Yeah.
It was pillow. She would put
the boyfriend pillow.
Would put one of my shirts on that smelled like me, and she
Yes,
would put,
and
she would
it
put it on the
probably
pillow,
it
and
probably
she would
was a
sleep.
Buckeye shirt.
It was whatever.
Whatever shirt I was wearing when I got
Whatever.
home.
Oh, that is so cute. Oh my gosh. Holy crap.
That's
No, I
what
want to get into, there's so many other things I want to talk about. Teresa, wow. Are you guys you're still, because we just did a video call a couple weeks ago. So you're still in the same house that you were when you hosted my dad's celebration of life.
Yeah. We've been here for 2.5 years.
And I can't remember, you're renting or you own that place?
We do. The reason why we came up here, because you asked about that, how did we get to Oak Ridge? We had a property in out in the country. The kids rent from us right now. But so we were living with just us and Charity, and we're empty nesting and we're trying to do that, and all of a sudden Peyton has to move back in and he brings his woman with him, and then they're having 2 kids. And
This woman?
This woman,
did you just refer to her as this woman?
Well, at the time I did, because I'm like, Peyton, why are you moving back in? You're a grown man.
I cannot wait to share this podcast with your kids.
20,
Tag him in it.
She knows I love her because she bore my grandchildren, but
yes.
29 years old, you're moving back in with your parents. What is going on? We literally left all of our stuff. We took the pictures. We took our social security cards and our birth certificates. We left all the furniture and we came up here and we bought
and just gave the house to the kids and went to Oak Ridge
because they didn't want to leave us.
So you know how babe like mother birds, and when the baby gets up, so they'll ruffle the nest to make the baby leave. Yeah, that's what they did to us. They ruffled the feathers, so we left.
So the parents would leave.
Yeah, and so I became a property manager up here for the person that we rent this house from.
Okay.
And I also was, because they have a few rentals. They actually stay a lot in Mexico. But this guy was selling, I left corporate at that time when we moved up here with my job and was trying to find something more friendly for me because corporate was not my kind of atmosphere that I wanted to be in.
Right.
And so I was literally thinking I'm going to be selling for stuff for this person. And I was going to be there. I
don't even know
I don't even know what I was thinking I was going to be. I thought I was going to be something great.
We met this really eccentric dude at the Guns N' Roses concert.
Oh yeah.
Of
And
course you did.
yeah,
Yes.
you're right. So he ends up sitting behind us, right? And he is
standing because we
yeah.
were at the
Oh yeah, we
rail.
were so we're in the front row at a Guns N' Roses concert. He
Yes.
comes in, he's got this shirt on, all these LED lights flashing on it. He's got this hat. I mean, it's just crazy stuff. So we're friendly people. He's really friendly. And so we are interacting and just we really, it was fun.
We just meshed well.
We really did. And so he was just like, if this song comes on, do you care if I get up in the front? And I'm like, I'm here for Teresa, right? So I don't care if I'm in the front row or not. So I was like, sure. So he ends up, we switch spots and he's sitting there jamming out with Teresa in the front row. So we end up connecting. He has his own little business and he sells these little knick-knack novelty stuff like LED lights and solar lights that you can project it on your house and your house will change.
Oh, right.
And so he sells all this stuff and Teresa was going to help him sell it. Basically,
I thought I could make him rich. Okay.
Yeah.
But not you.
Right. So
you were trying to make yourself rich, Teresa.
Right. So I'm working in Athens and I make enough money to where I can drive an hour to work and it's not a big deal. So we move up here into one of his houses. He gives us a big discount because we're his property manager on top of that. And that's how we ended up in Oak Ridge. And now I love Oak Ridge. I don't want to leave Oak Ridge. Like I've planted roots here and this is like the place I want to retire in. Is just
it's very nice.
I just love
it feels safe. He's made he got into the basketball scene here and people love him. So I mean he's a lovable guy, but they just will not leave him alone with the basketball stuff. And
so yeah, basically from November until May, I'm involved with basketball. So I coach rec league.
Nice.
Up until like right now. So our last game was this past weekend. And now we're starting with AAU. So the high school has a feeder program called the Oak Ridge Stars.
Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah. And so the from third grade all the way up to eighth grade.
Yep.
It's a AAU basketball program.
That's going to be, by the way, Philip, that's going to be, now that I know that you have experience in this, that's going to be a different podcast. I have so many questions about the AAU, how it's changed and how it's become a feeder program. And I'm like, what the, anyway, I don't want to go down that road right now.
There's two different, I'll just give you this brief introduction on it.
Please,
there's really
do.
two different types of AAU programs. There's the programs like that I work with, that is more developmental, that works with kids to prepare them to be able to play basketball and have the fundamentals taught to them in high school. So once they get out of that, then it goes on. Then there's high school that goes on past that. So we don't have a high school AAU program, but then you have the circuit teams. Yeah, you get all these.
It's all about the business.
It's all about the business.
And they already have fucking agents trying to talk to eighth graders.
Yep. And so that's what it makes it hard for us because we have to go up against those teams, especially with the proximity of Knoxville.
Yeah.
So they're the big circuit teams are always farming your best players.
Yeah.
So a standout, point guard from Robertsville Middle School won't play for the Oak Ridge Stars because this circuit team in Knoxville's won.
Yeah.
So they come and get them. They give them shoes. They give them sponsorships. They travel
all the swag. Yes.
Places. Yeah. So
all right. Let's stop talking about that because I'm going to get pissed off. But
but this guy here though, everyone loves him. He's got such a good heart. He's got such a good passion. Growing up, the kids growing up, he was the favorite. And it's because the energy that drew me to him, that guy in the hallway.
Yeah.
Hey,
And I
Tony.
don't, yeah, and I was already going to do this. I'm going to slobber all over both of you. But Teresa, even you, um, incredibly kind. I remember, I had to, God, my dad was staying with you guys, and you were so worried about him, and we had the phone call. And that was the first time I talked to you in forever. But obviously, Wes had been there and kind of knew what was going on, and you were crying on the phone. Um, Let me sum this up. Yeah, you are so incredibly considerate and you're all about family. And I will probably never be able to repay you for what you did for my dad. Um, I fucking love you. And then Philip also, I didn't meet you until I came there. But then you were both willing to open your home to us to have my celebration of life, for my dad's family. And I'm like, uh, I so I didn't know. You're obviously the Christian faith or something. You have faith, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, this explains so much. You were both so kind. Opening your home, letting me connect my computer to put a slideshow on your fucking TV, and then but whenever I would ask something, I was trying to be so gracious. I was trying to say, God, I don't want to take over Philip's home, but can I get an HDMI line? You know? And you were just so chill. You were like, yeah, whatever it takes. And then there was because the kids brought their kids over, and I have photos and video of you on the couch, both of you on the couch with the grandbabies, and the family is at your table, and you guys are chilling on the couch and just enjoying your kids. And I was like, oh, and God, yeah, that was an incredible gift that you both gave to me, and I probably don't share it enough. So I thought it'd be a good time to share it when I'm recording this. And my one listener, Gwen, the one listener I have on my podcast can hear this. So anyway, I just wanted to say that was awesome. But it also, I'm I'm agnostic, but I'm not against religion, and my mantra has always been, whatever it takes to make you a better person, I'm all for it. Whatever fucking works for you. Yes, fucking do it. And I'm not arrogant enough to think that I have all the answers. Yeah, but I guess I'm sorry, Philip. I didn't know that about you, that you were pastoring. But I think that's an amazing thing. And you both seem like amazing people. Actually, I know you are, clearly. So
Thank you for saying
I'm gonna stop talking right now and you should respond. We're still recording.
that. Well, you made me cry. So there's,
Mission accomplished.
yeah, mission accomplished. You know, your dad showed us that love being here and just helping out like when he could.
Yeah, exactly. When he could.
When
God,
he could.
heart of gold. God, he was so annoying sometimes, but heart of gold. Yes, I know what you're saying.
When he was 8 years old, he would mow yards just so mama and her sister could have milk.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
worked
yeah.
all the time to help. And you know, I've had that instilled in me to be a helper, to be a servant, and it's not like a servant in a bad way. It's like don't expect anything in return. It's like the reward is making someone's day better or
It's
helping
called
them.
effective altruism. Yeah,
Yeah.
you do something for somebody else with no expectation of a benefit to you. Yes,
Yeah.
and I really believe that.
And that's how I live my life. And you know, I've seen death and I've seen heartbreak, and I would never ever want to purposely be the reason why someone didn't have a place to celebrate a life,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And um our home is always open to you and Chris,
I know, and thank you
your
for that.
family
And
and
I'm sorry
Krista.
I made too many old fashions and I got you drunk.
It was celebrating. We were celebrating life.
But I did bring you water. Philip told me to bring you water.
Yeah.
I don't
I
recall.
I I I try to.
Oh, I remember every moment of that night.
I
It was
think
amazing.
Deshonda actually was,
Yes.
she got a little, I think Sheila said something now. He made those strong.
No, I made
That's
them the
old
right
fashioned
way.
around, man.
Yeah. And so that is something that I will always cherish having everyone here at that moment and think, all the laughs and letting and our kids, meeting y'all and
Yeah.
the kids grew up, hearing all these stories with, Uncle Jack. And it was kind of funny because Charity could never understand what your dad was saying
Nobody
ever.
can. Nobody can.
Yeah, it was very.
I could most of it, but she would always say, she would just, okay, okay, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
But
I still my favorite story with Uncle Jack is when he was staying with us and Peyton would go down there and get his crown from the
Yeah.
liquor
Yes.
store.
Fuck
And,
the Crown
and he
Royal.
yeah,
Fuck.
he would go down there and get that Crown Royal all the time. And then when Jack left, Peyton didn't go down there and get it anymore. And we always thought, well, I bet those people at the liquor store thought Peyton got into AA because he wasn't drinking that crown anymore.
like they knew him on a first name
They did.
basis.
Oh my
Because it was
God.
like every 3 days he would go
Yep.
down there.
Gotta
God.
have that. Was it Michelob Ultra that he would drink?
Yeah.
Yes, Michelob Ultra and the
and a
fucking
bottle
Crown
of Crown.
Royal.
3 mix and
Several
yeah.
shots.
Yeah,
So
that
there is a special place in heaven for both of you. Oh my God, and your kids. Amazing. I'm gonna stop recording, but we can after I stop recording, we can say our goodbyes off camera. But I do want to say this has been amazing. I'm really glad you both came on the podcast. Yeah, for the first time ever, I'm looking at Krista right now. I'm kind of at a loss for words. Yeah, this was
oh,
awesome.
I got chills when you said that. Thank you.
Um,
I know
all right.
I hate that it's ending because you are very good at what you're doing. You're easy to talk to.
Okay, you should stop. I don't like compliments. Stop
I
doing
don't
that.
either. Like I don't either, but you're gonna listen to
Would
this
you please
because
tell me I'm an asshole?
the only time I thought you were an asshole, and I didn't even get to say this, was when you made me sit in the front row in 1983 watching Cujo.
You
That's
had to
when I
bring that
thought you were
story
the
up.
asshole.
So
Okay.
yes, Cujo, Stephen King novel. They turned to a movie with Dee Wallace, um, and we went to the theater to see it in
Your
the
dad
theater,
dropped us off.
1983.
I had to sit by myself. I was 5 years old, sitting by myself in the front row, and I did not like dogs for a
A
long
long time, and now we
time.
have dogs all over the place.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
We didn't even
You
get to
know,
talk.
I feel terrible about that. But I do have a good therapist that I've been seeing for 10 years. I'll send you her number. All right, let me
How my
stop the
fear.
recording and then we can do a proper goodbye.
Oh, we were still recording?
Yeah, this was all recorded. This is
Oh,
going to
I
be on
know, but
YouTube.
you got the Cujo on there?
Yes, this is all on YouTube. I'm not editing. The entire world is going to hear the fucking Cujo story.
Yes.
All right, I'm stopping right now. 1 second.